meeting is going to be virtual, just to make sure we're keeping everybody safe. So the design in what we're going to do tonight, I have a PowerPoint presentation that will guide the course of the meeting. At any time on the chat feature that's here, you could go ahead and type in a question. At the end of the presentation, we'll have a very full and complete Q&A session in which hopefully I'll be able to answer any questions or concerns that you might have as we look to get started here with the fall season. So I'm going to bring up that PowerPoint as we discussed. So obviously, first and foremost, congratulations to all of our incoming freshmen. It is a daunting task in the admissions procedure, and you should feel honored and excited about the next chapter that's in front of you right now. PCTI truly is an amazing place and is like no place else. Unfortunately, for this incoming class, we're experiencing some unprecedented times. We definitely have a lot of questions and concerns, and we definitely know that the fall will be unique and like no other time and or history here at PCTVS. So I know there are a ton of questions. I'm going to do my best to answer them with the information that we have right here and right now. Please understand that it changes weekly. I literally get updates every Friday as to what the New Jersey Department of Education and NJSIAA will allow to happen in the realm of athletics. We're going to have a brief overview of all the programs that we offer here at Passaic County Tech. We'll do a particular focus on the fall of 2020, but we will touch on winter and spring. And then, like I said, at the conclusion of that, hopefully you've got all the information that you need to know to get started. And at the very end, we'll have a pretty comprehensive question and answer session. I've taken questions from previous years and put them to print with corrugated responses. And then obviously we'll take the time to answer any questions that you guys might have as well. So the PCTVS Athletic Department, as I said before, I'm Mr. Nick Neese, the Director of Athletics. I oversee both schools, the Diana C. Labasco STEM Building and PCTI. At any time, you could contact me by dialing that number that's on the screen right now. Extension 4106 is my direct office line. And if I'm sitting at my desk, I will be the one answering that phone when you call. So if you have a question, if you have a concern, any time of day, please reach out to that phone number and hopefully I can get it answered. If I cannot, the athletic secretary, Ms. Felicia Robinson, she's extension 4141. She is very knowledgeable in all the questions regarding athletic scheduling, busing, transportation, anything that you can really bring to the table. She's also a PCTI graduate. So we're very happy to have Ms. Robinson on board, and she's definitely the heart and soul of this department, and we're really lucky to have her. All right, we also have 3 outstanding athletic trainers. They are the best in the business. There's no doubt in my mind. I've been in athletics for over 25 years, and they truly are magnificent. Our first is Miss Elizabeth Hewlett. She's extension 2016. Our second is Mr. Pat Triano, extension 4129. And our third and newest member to the group is Mr. Ryan Berube. He is extension 2001. All of them are savvy veterans. All of them have been dealing with athletic injury and instances and therapies and rehabilitation literally for combined decades. So we are truly blessed to have probably the best 3 athletic trainers in the county in one single place. So extremely lucky. And then we're going to take a little bit of time to introduce you to the coaches, respectively to our fall coaches first. They're going to be your point contacts via the webpage and email communications. And we'll get you guys up and going with our school today and our scheduling piece, which will help bring everything together. So in the fall, we offer a multitude of sports. Our first and largest is obviously football. That is coached by head coach Matt Demarest, a very successful program. and we run varsity football, junior varsity football, and freshman football. Boys soccer is led by head coach Mark Foti. Boys soccer is offered on 3 levels: varsity, junior varsity, and freshman. Girls soccer, our head coach is Miss Caitlin Kiernan. Again, varsity, junior varsity, and freshman levels. Our cheer coach is Miss Caitlin Dowling. For the first time in PCTI history, we advanced cheer to 3 levels. So we will have varsity, junior varsity, and a separate freshman squad, and they'll cheer at all of our fall events. And then in the winter, they become our competition cheer and cheer for basketball as well. Also in the fall, we have girls tennis led by head coach Tom Bove. Very proud of the growth of that program. The first time in school history last year, they were tied for Passaic County Championship. So we're extremely proud of girls tennis. On the cross country side, head coach for the boys is Mr. Louis Colon. Head coach for the girls is Miss Jen Wall. We offer cross country at the varsity and junior varsity level. Girls volleyball, our first year head coach, but he's not new to the system because he's been a boys varsity head coach for quite some time, is Mr. Alberto Rosa. He'll be taking over as the girls coach this fall. We offer girls volleyball on the varsity, junior varsity, and freshman levels. So those are our fall sports, a quick snapshot, and the coaches that you might want to look up and or email directly, all of whom are a quick tabbed attachment on our athletics webpage. In the winter, we offer competition cheer, girls and boys basketball, girls and boys bowling, girls and boys fencing, which we're proud to say is one of our newer sports offered here at PCTI. This will be year 4 for the program. They have grown at an accelerated rate, and we're seeing some really great things out of our fencing team. For the second year, PCTI will be able to offer ice hockey. We offer ice hockey as a junior varsity sport at both the varsity and junior varsity level. Last year, we had 30 skaters in year 1, and we're very proud to offer that as our newest sport. Obviously, girls and boys swimming, which is a very celebrated program. They really have been dominant in the pool, which helps when you have your own pool on campus. There's no doubt about it. Girls and boys winter track and wrestling. In the spring, we offer baseball, softball, both of which are at the varsity, junior varsity, and freshman level. We offer girls and boys golf at the varsity and junior varsity level. We offer boys and girls lacrosse at the varsity and junior varsity level. We offer boys and girls spring track, boys tennis at varsity and junior varsity, and boys volleyball at varsity, junior varsity, and the freshman level. So we have a full magnitude of sports, all 30 offerings, and we're always looking to add the next big thing here at PCTVS. So looking forward to being able to offer additional sport offerings down the road as we continue to grow and do very well in athletics. All right, so our focus here at PCTVS in regards to the athletic department is the student athlete. We look to grow men and women in 4 distinct areas. We're looking to help them think critically, communicate effectively, know what it takes to live a healthy and physical lifestyle. And then obviously, probably our most important thing is good citizenship through good sportsmanship. In order to do that, we have to understand that the term is student athlete. And with that, that means student comes first. And our academics and what we do in the classroom is the most important thing as we look to foster those 4 pillars that we had mentioned before. In order to be part of the team, you have to get it done in the classroom. There's no doubt about it. Eligibility in regards to credits earned and your grades that you achieve in those core subjects are extremely important and kind of guide the ship. There are some musts in regard to preparation, and we're going to go over those in detail right now. So the first must is medical clearance paperwork. Those appear in 2 fashions. For our returning student athletes, there is what is known as a medical update. That means we have a valid physical on file, a physical that was completed within 365 days of the start of that season. So in regards to the situation that we're currently in now, that's 365 days as of July the 20th. If you have a valid physical on file with us, you just need to do a medical update. It's basically 2 forms. It's a health history questionnaire that shows us that your health situation hasn't changed since the physical was submitted, and then an information piece that goes along to our school nurses. If you do not have a medical physical on file with us, or in the case of all of our incoming freshmen, you are required to complete the PCTVS athletic physical packet, which is located on the website. Real quick, I'll click the link to take us to the athletics homepage. You can see here, it's comprehensive information that's presented in a multitude of fashions, but the most important stuff in regards to medical clearance is this athletic forms and health information tab located to the left of the page. If you click on that, all of the forms that you need to medically participate are located here. The full medical physical packet, which is for our freshmen, is that first one listed there. It's pretty comprehensive. It's about an 18-page document. There's no doubt about it. It's a lot. However, there's only 7 pages that have to come back to us, and we're going to go through those real quickly as a group. As soon as I can get back to my PowerPoint. All right. All of those forms were updated as of July the 7th with the state's new COVID-19 questionnaires. So there's a questionnaire embedded within the packet, and there's also a daily screening report that you would have to complete if you were going to report for summer recess workouts. So like I said before, there are 7 very important documents that are within that packet. We're going to take some time to take a peek at each one of them, and hopefully if you have any questions, you'll let us know. All right, so the first one is the cover page. The cover page actually acts as your registration for sport. There are 2 areas highlighted here with the X's in the box. Whenever you see an X in a box, that's going to require a signature either from you or from your medical home, your physician. So that's the cover page. This is where you would register. This is where you would indicate the sport that you are willing to try out for in any given season. There also is comprehensive directions in there to kind of help you guys through the packet. All right, the second set of pages are 4 pages that are required from the New Jersey Department of Education. They are specific. History form, a special needs form, which doesn't always have to be filled out by everyone. Your physical from your physical home, from your physician. And then obviously page 4 is a clearance form, which includes a signature from your doctor that they have completed the cardiac module. That's not for you guys as parents. Page 4 is more for physician signature and going from there. So sometimes we get a lot of questions on those 4 pages that are from the state, but they're pretty standard. If you participated on the rec level from your local towns, you probably did something similar as is mandated from the New Jersey Department of Education. And again, wherever you see those X's, that's going to be where we require a signature. More often than not, when nurses return incomplete paperwork, it's because we're skipping over a shaded area or we're skipping over a signature box. All right, the new form to this year is the COVID-19 questionnaire. It appears once in the physical packet, but like I said, this form is unique in that if you decide to attend our summer recess workouts, you have to hand in a COVID-19 daily questionnaire, which we'll see a little later in the presentation. The form is pretty standard. Please understand that if you are circling anything but no, it's gonna remove that student athlete from participation until we get medical clearance from a physician. So as you read through those questions, again, they pertain to the current status of the student athlete. If the student athlete tested positive for COVID-19 in March, but has subsequently recovered, you're not going to want to check yes, because yes will remove them from sport until we get a medical clearance note to the contrary. All right, the next form is the sudden cardiac death and concussion right to know sign off. Again, shaded area, X boxes, they're important for you guys to fill out. But please make sure they're completed and signed and dated. All right, the next form is the New Jersey Department of Education Opioid Abuse Fact Sheet. Again, this is a mandatory form issued by State Department of Education. Its focus is for athletics because of injury, because of orthopedic situations, and because of the tendency for there to be prescribed opioid drugs to deal with pain. We try to avoid it at all costs. Obviously, injuries are not something that anyone wants us to deal with, but for whatever reason, the Jersey Department of Education thought athletes were a target for this information. So there's a fact sign-off sheet in addition to information within the packet. All right, NJSIAA steroid testing policy. Being that we are participants in the New Jersey State Tournament, all of our student athletes have to sign off on a steroid testing consent form. I can tell you where I would say all have to sign off. The only time a team is targeted for random testing is if they qualify for a state tournament. I would then say that from that targeted group that qualifies, state chooses randomly by sport, and then again chooses randomly by school, and then again chooses randomly by rosters on those sport from each school. So the number of testing is minimal. I would say that over the past 10 years in overseeing athletics, I've had 2 occasions in which 2 programs were tested. Each one of those programs had about 4 to 5 student athletes that were asked to conform with the requirements of the consent policy. It's really not a big deal. School nurses there to oversee it. We make sure it's gender specific and there are no issues. And like I said, it is a small sampling of an extremely small sampling. And this has become less and less of an issue as we've progressed away from the big baseball era with guys hitting millions home runs and probably setting the table in the wrong direction for student athletes. So again, a small sampling of a small sampling, but it is a necessary evil, and we do have to complete it in order to take part in state tournament play. All right, so that takes care of the medical clearance paperwork. The second big piece are the guidelines from the NJSIAA, which is the governing body for athletics in the state of New Jersey. They have 2 pieces for eligibility. The first piece is age. You can't be 16 by September 1st of your freshman year, and you can't be more than 19 by September 1st of your senior year. It's just to ensure that there's equitable match among players, among age groups, etc. There are always derivations from the norm. There are always areas for appeal. There are always areas to address certain specific situations, especially since everyone brings a different set of life circumstances to the table. If you do have to observe any one of those deadlines, if you have a student athlete that turns 19 by September 1 of their senior year, there are steps that we can take along the process to maintain eligibility and or seek an appeal for eligibility. The second piece is credits. All right, you need to have completed 30 credits in your previous year. All incoming freshmen are automatically eligible based on credits, just from matriculation alone from 8th to 9th grade. So the good news is all incoming freshmen are eligible for fall sports and winter sports immediately. The bad news for freshmen comes into play in semester 2. You have to maintain at least 15 credits passing from your first semester. All right, at PCTVS, we use the trimester system. So for us, it is an average of trimester 1 and trimester 2 that's used to determine that you are passing half of your classes. If you are less than 15 credits, which happens few and far between at PCTI, because we have 9 periods a day, of which one of those is a dedicated vocation, CTE, so our credit loads are usually higher than the state average 30 per year. So our students are usually closer to about 42 credits any given year. That doesn't mean it's okay to fail a subject, because we revert back to our first statement, the term is student athlete for a reason. So these are the state required minimums, but it's okay to understand that your coaches might have more stringent guidelines in regards to what you need to do in the classroom to represent the Bulldogs on the court or on the field. All right, so the minimums are 30 from the previous year and 15 from semester one. However, coaches' prerogative in regards to what you're doing in the classroom or what you're not doing in the classroom and your participation on the team always comes into play. All right, so the next piece is sportsmanship. The Big North Conference is the conference that we participate in. It is over 41 schools from Passaic and Bergen County. It is truly one of the most competitive conferences in the state of New Jersey, if not on the East Coast, if not in the country. We have some very good athletically talented schools within this conference, and we maintain sportsmanship as the priority of the conference. Please understand that you are held to a higher standard as a student athlete. Not only could there be disciplinary infractions within the classroom, but there can also be disciplinary infractions that are played out on the playing field. So it is kind of double jeopardy, but it goes along with being held to a higher standard. We really talk about sportsmanship coming down to two things: being a gracious winner, and when things aren't going your way, know how to manage frustrations. We need to know that every time we take the field, every time we're on the court, every time we go into the pool, half of the participants will walk away with a loss, and the other half walks away with a win. We have to know what both sides of that feel like. I know more often than not, it's with the win. So we have to give that first class all the way, that been there, we're better than that, that we represent PCTVS and the Bulldogs with the highest level of honor. And we do that by acting like good sports. There's no doubt about it. If you can't display good sportsmanship, you cannot be a Bulldog and represent us in athletic competitions. It's not uncommon that should there be a flagrant foul during a game and or a game ejection, that might be the end of your season as a Bulldog. And again, there are unique circumstances all over the place. But more often than not, if you are the one that incited that flagrant foul or incited that unsportsmanlike behavior, for us, it's better to part ways. So we keep that, we keep sportsmanship very high on the list. Coaches know what's expected, and every year we want to be the school that hoists the NJSIA banner to be disqualification free. That's our goal in the fall, in the winter, and in the spring. And we expect our Bulldogs to execute that as best they can. All right, so our athletic training room. On any given year, I would introduce these three fantastic people to talk to you guys about all these distinct aspects of the athletic training room. Unfortunately, we're doing this virtually. Unfortunately, that means, we want to limit the voices and the back and forth to just one. They get to hear me the whole time. But Pat Triano, Liz Hewlett, and Ryan Berube, like I said earlier, are really the best athletic trainers that you could possibly ask for. They keep us going. They keep us healthy. They keep us focused. Athletes that are unfortunate enough to sustain an injury, you will get to know them extremely well. They do an amazing job of communicating with parents and families. They also are there if you need recommendations in regards to follow-up. And they're also available if you need them for rehabilitation, from serious injury, and to get you back on the field as safely and quickly as possible. So I know our trainers greatly appreciate all that they do. We are truly blessed to be able to have three athletic trainers, but we're also extremely busy. As you know from being on campus, we have multiple fields. We also utilize fields in surrounding towns. So their jobs are daunting on any given day, making sure that we're covering those contests. But I can guarantee you if we have a home contest, one of our trainers is going to be present either on that field or jockeying between two of those fields so that we have medical coverage at all times. And they are truly amazing at what they do. You'll get to know them. They'll go over the rules and regulation of the athletic training facility. Obviously, in the era of COVID-19, we have to change some of our protocols that exist. So they will definitely get you guys up to speed with exactly what needs to happen there. With that being said, We are entering phase 1 in our return to play protocol. That's going to begin on July 27th. We have taken a calculated, delayed approach to the opening. Some schools have started as early as the 13th of July. We're a little larger than most schools, so we wanted to make sure that we were well prepared and that when we started, we didn't have to stop. So if you click on the athletic webpage, you will find a 8-page document that goes over in great detail all the concerns that we have with opening in phase 1 of our return to play. It is immense. It's a lot of time and effort that went into it, but we have provided you at the end with a return to play summary, quick links, if you will, with also some supplementary information so that you can read it at your leisure. All right, so that's located on the athletic webpage. Also located on that same page is a letter to our parents and our student athletes. It's there for you to review, just to let you know we're getting going on the 27th and some of the things that are concerned. For us, primary issue with our incoming freshmen is going to be that medical clearance paperwork. So obviously, the sooner we can get started on that, the better. It's got to be presented to the school health office, and usually if it's presented on a given day, we can have you cleared and ready to return to athletics on that night. But it's going to take yeoman's effort in order to get us up and going on the 27th. However, those are non-mandatory practices, and you could join us at any time. So if you do have to wait, schedule a physical, we can definitely extend the period of time in which you're ready to practice. That's not a big deal, especially in these summer conditioning workouts. And we're looking to offer medical physicals here at the school in August. So we have some options that we can share with you, and we'll get to the end. Freshmen have to have a medical physical on file in order to participate. It will also be required to daily submit this COVID-19 pre-screening questionnaire. Again, an indication of yes would remove you from participation on that given day. And then there will also be daily temperature screenings when we arrive. We'll talk a little bit about schedules that pertain to those summer workout sessions. They will be posted on this website, which is Our School Today. Click on the link, and you click on Passaic County Tech. It'll take you right to our scheduler, our athletic webpage. You'll see today, the 15th, on the schedule, we have our incoming freshman meeting. Next week, Ms. Robinson will post all of our summer workout sessions by sport. If we do have to make a cancellation, it will be shared with you via this webpage. If you click on the Notify Me tab right here, you can set yourself up to receive text messages, emails, phone calls when any changes have been made to your son and or daughter's sport. So this is a extremely useful website. It will provide clarity with your schedules. And if you did want to look to see exactly what was scheduled, let's say you have a boys freshman soccer player, all right, you can pull up their schedule, and there is all their information right now, dates, times, and what's going to happen. Obviously, the state has changed some of those things. We're going to have to tweak fall schedules, but this is what fall schedules look like at the beginning of the summer. And as soon as the Big North Conference gets us the update, we'll make those changes. All right, so transportation. Traditionally, PCTI has been amazing in regard to courtesy busing for transportation. Unfortunately, because of some of the restrictions that exist with COVID-19, we are not going to be able to allow courtesy busing for phase 1 and phase 2 of summer recess workouts. So we know phase 1 will start July 27th and will extend to August 10th. Phase 2 would be subsequent 2 weeks after that, but there will not be transportation during that time. So that's no courtesy busing to campus, and that's no courtesy busing home from campus. When possible, and we're looking at making it possible for phase 3, which is large group practices with equipment, we will communicate through coaches how bus runs will work starting on or around August 24th. We can be in phase 3 for a week, and then we're on virtual meetings for 2 weeks in September. So the official start for the fall season is actually not until September 14th. So everyone sees that the 2 weeks between August 28th and September 14th, NJSIAA came out last week with that. That will be a non-contact period, non-physical contact period, and practices will need to be conducted virtually, and that's to allow kids to get settled into their new schedules at school and focus primarily on academics. When we do start courtesy busing, there will be common pickup sites and common drop-off sites. For example, there might be a bus run that goes to Clifton, Passaic City Hall, and then to PCTI, and then in reverse, the same thing. So courtesy busing is just to get us into areas of proximity to our home. It is not like district busing that you experience AM and PM coming into school. When it is the case, when courtesy busing is happen, we ask that you make sure that you are punctual and that you are at the right pickup sites. So coaches will communicate all of that to you in detail as soon as you start regular contact with them, either through Google Classroom or Canvas or Remind app or Huddle. So every program does something a little different in regards to communication. A lot of that information is on the website, Sports Specific. And so that is a great resource for you guys. Anytime we can funnel you to the webpage for information, we're going to make that attempt. And it will be up to date and it will be as accurate as it can be. But the primary communication should be website. Any additional questions from the website, pick up the phone, call the athletic department directly, speak with me, Ms. Robinson, and or any of the trainers, and we'll get those questions answered for you as soon as humanly possible. All right, so we also have a social media presence. I like to tweet live from the games to keep our kids involved. If they choose to do so, they can follow us at PCTI, at PCTI_athletics. Again, it's cool to see your name on Twitter for doing great things in a contest, and it's cool to see the accolades for our student athletes. And the media does a great job in picking up the information that's on there and using it in their reporting for the newspapers, et cetera. So our social media presence is on Twitter. We also have an Instagram page that whenever we can post videos and or pictures, we do that for the kids, but please follow us on Twitter if you can. All right, so question and answer segment. Obviously, there are some standard questions that I get almost year to year, and it takes time to write them down so we can review them together, and then obviously we'll look to the chat, see what can or can't be answered. So the first one is, how do I register or sign up for a sport? That's pretty cut and dry. In the medical clearance paperwork, that cover page is your registration. That will act as your opinion verbalized to our nurses that you should be included on the football roster or the boys soccer roster or cross country, et cetera, et cetera. So that cover page where it indicates sport, that is how you are registering for your sport. It acts as the instructions at the top half of that page and then the registration at the second half. All right, how many sports can my son or daughter play at PCTVS? Well, the common answer, you'd think 3, but in actuality, it's 3 to 5 sports per year. There are 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring, but you are allowed to play a strenuous sport and a non-strenuous sport in any season. Now, there are only 3 non-strenuous sports. They are bowling, cheer, and golf. So in some way, shape, or form, you'll have a combination of 3 seasonal sports plus bowling, plus cheer, or plus golf, which can get you up to 5 sports in a given year. It is a daunting task, and there's a lot of challenges that exist in it, but we've had athletes that have done it. All right, what is the tryout procedure, and are there cuts? PCTVS is one of the largest school districts in the state of New Jersey. Most of our sports are limited roster sports. Unfortunately, that means that some prospective athletes will not make the squad. How does that affect freshmen coming into this year? There are going to be large portions of kids trying out for teams. It's not uncommon, like in a sport like boys basketball or girls volleyball, that we have 50, 60, 70 kids trying out, for 15 roster spots. It gets intense. Coaches have to do a fair amount of work in limiting those pools and finding which 15 best fit their needs, and will best represent PCT on the court. Sometimes kids cut themselves because they're not cutting the mustard academically. So my first warning is make sure you're doing what you should be doing in the classroom. All right, that's going to be level one. Then there's honing your skills and sharpening your skills on the court and presenting them in a limited window. We can't have 2 weeks of tryouts, so there are cuts on day 2 and day 3. So you need to step forward with your best foot. Sometimes that means doing extra work in preparation for your season so that you stand out in the crowd. But one of the setbacks to being an extremely large school is that we have an extremely large number of student athletes trying out, and the roster spots don't change. So that is a question or concern, and it rightfully is. Could be. If you get cut from a fall team, can you try out for another? The answer is yes, but there are some limitations. So, as you're going through your tryout period, so are other sports. Some sports have a little more leniency in their roster numbers. For instance, track and field, they can take up to 150 student athletes. So, if you do get cut from the basketball team, but you got some hops and you want to try out for high jump or pole vault, or there are possibilities. The same can be said in the fall with a sport like cross country. Everybody knows how to run, and cross country just requires that you run for distance. So, if you don't make the girls volleyball team, but you want to stay in shape and stay active and take advantage of the courses outdoor in the fall, cross country might be a good place for you to fall to. So there are possibilities, but in the same breath, there are limitations. All right, so what is happening with the fall 2020 schedules? So last Friday on July 11th, NJSIA announced that there was going to be a delay to the official start of the fall season. They placed that on Monday, September the 14th. Traditionally, the season would start 2 weeks earlier, and we'd be scrimmaging in August. That's not the case now. Scrimmages will take place within the first 7 days after Monday the 14th. So we do need to accelerate and figure out those teams, assuming that there will be a fall season, with games starting the week of 9/28, based on sport. I believe girls tennis is the first sport to get going on the 28th. Soccer goes off on that Thursday the 1st, and football on that Friday, October 2nd. Adjusted fall schedules will come from the Big North Conference. We mentioned them before. They are taking time to see how we'll tweak that in regards to divisional schedules. There will probably be the elimination of the county tournament for the fall, but we hope that the COVID-19 numbers and stay low, and that opening the school in the fall does not become an issue, because obviously this information changes weekly. And we could be in a place that jeopardizes the fall. But right now, we've literally cut the fall season almost in half. But we should be able to maintain at least 6 games for football, at least 10 to 12 games for soccer, including their respective state tournaments. Tennis is usually pretty easy on scheduling. They could almost play every day. Volleyball falls into the same mix. Cross country, there'll still be a series of meets. And then, we'll take everything else in stride for the fall. But obviously, with the unprecedented circumstances, we are a victim of what the New Jersey Department of Education will allow, and hence what NJSIAA will allow. All right, what is summer recess conditioning? I must have said phase 1 about 10 times through the course of this conversation. Phase 1 return to play is approved summer conditioning only. There are a lot of limitations that exist in what we can do in Phase 1. For instance, we will have to create pods of 10 student athletes with one assigned coach. They cannot commingle with other student athletes. They have to maintain 6 feet of social distancing in those respective pods. Each pod has to be 20 to 25 feet apart on the field. So there's a lot of work that's going into these summer recess workouts, which are mainly conditioning. They have to exist outside. They cannot exist indoors. And we have to have a mechanism for checking kids in and out. So we kind of reviewed that. It's going to be the questionnaire coupled with a temperature check, coupled with the fact that you are medically cleared to participate is going to gain you entry into those practice sessions. Practice sessions will be Monday through Thursday, starting the 27th, but they are specific to each sport. So please look at the athletic webpage under fall sports to see what your sport is planning and requires. Because we have to set pods, there might be additional information that's needed in regards to who's coming on a given day. All right, so please visit the PCTVS athletic homepage, click on fall sports, see what your sport has presented, and if you have any questions, give us a call. All that information is up there now. Do I have to participate in Phase 1 summer recess workouts to make a fall sport team? The answer is no. Summer recess workouts are not mandatory in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, being present for them helps you to familiarize with your teammates. You get to know some of your coaches. Again, you're working in pods, so you're really tethered to one physical coach, but you'll get to see everybody on a given day. And obviously, you're improving your skill in some way, shape, or form, so that can be a valuable asset, to your efforts, especially on those limited roster sports. Not every sport will have on-campus workouts. Cross country is one that will be working out on their own probably until the middle of August. They also set up standardized runs at Garrett Mountain. So coaches will kind of communicate those stuff. If you want to pack run, obviously in those scenarios, it's a little different than being on campus and occupying a physical space on the field. Cross-country runners, they run, and they run well. All right, so when's my physical packet due? The answer is as soon as humanly possible. We're accepting them starting Monday the 20th. If you have them ready to go, you can drop them off here now. We will look to process them. If you don't want to drop it off physically, we are accepting scanned and emailed copies this year. You can email them to Ms. Robinson, the athletic secretary, all right, and she will process them from there. Can't participate unless you have a medical physical on file. That's for all incoming freshmen. All right, what if my insurance does not allow for another physical? Unfortunate, but we'd have to outsource that to something that's doable at this time. So there's telemedicine visits that are available through your own practitioners. Urgent Care has a $30 physical. MedExpress is offering a $30 physical. CVS Minute Clinic also is offering a low-cost physical that will suffice in regards to sports. Or you can wait for the information to be posted by our nurses for dates that we will try to get the school physician on campus in August. That's probably going to be the first full week in August, if possible. We're waiting for a response from the physician's office to see if that's something that they're willing to do for us. We have offered that in the past on multiple dates, and usually we're more prepared in regards to upperclassmen, but unfortunately not having the kids on campus in May, June, and July has set us back in that equation. So there's probably going to be a distinct need. It's how many we can offer. That's the question at this juncture. All right, how do you sign up for a winter sport or a spring sport? I get this all the time. There is no rush. We definitely have a lot of time to address those. They're probably going to be unique to 2020, 2021 in how their seasons roll out based on what's occurring in the fall. There will be morning announcements through the school. There will be announcements in your phys ed periods as we get closer to the start of winter season. Usually that's early October that we're posting those things. This year it might be a little later because that looks to be the heart of the fall season. And then for the spring, we usually start signups right after we come back from winter break there in early January. And that is how we kind of set the table for those sports. So if you are a winter sports student athlete or a spring sports student athlete, all this information is important to you, but you got a little bit more time to get paperwork done and set the table for your sport. All right. So before I hit our last slide, I did want to open it up to any questions that you might have. Trying to locate my chat box. I'm going to stop sharing the screen real quick. Well, actually, I'll share this piece with you first, and then we'll move away from the shared screen. But I was asked by our new building principal, Mr. Garcia, to take a peek at what we've done. He categorized it as a tradition of excellence, and I'd have to agree. Since 2013, looking at this, 7 years in the making here, the Bulldogs have had a really nice run, and in sports that you never thought was possible if you looked at the school about a decade ago. But in that 7-year time span, we've had 58 divisional championships, we've had 28 county championships, and we've had 12 state championships. That is truly amazing at the growth of these programs. And they're in sports like swimming. Fencing was a match away from a county tournament last year, and that was only their 3rd year in existence. Ice hockey grabbed the win in their first season, and we have all those players returning. So, it really is the start of a tradition of excellence. So I'm very appreciative of our coaches who do an amazing job. I'm very appreciative of our athletic trainers who keep our kids healthy and in top-notch shape. I'm very appreciative of the parents that have committed themselves to Bulldog athletics, because to see what programs like football and wrestling and softball, see how they've grown and become dominant forces in their niche, it's amazing. And we're leaning on the class of 2024 to carry the torch, and the bar is high. But I can't wait to look at these numbers in 4 years and know that all of your contributions made it even that more special, even that more unique, like no place else. There's no doubt about it. So be part of something. If you've never done a sport before, this is the time to jump in, learn a new craft, and excel at it. And definitely good luck to the 2021 season. And it's going to be different, but we're going to get through it together. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen real quick. All right. So I see one of our athletic trainers has been answering back and forth. There was no sound. Guys, I hope there was sound. Clear? All right, good. All right. So if anybody missed any of the aspects of this presentation, we recorded all of it, so it will be presented again via YouTube channel. Just give me about a day to upload the information and get it going. I see there's a question about physicals faxed. We can accept them as faxed. The clarity on them does not exist. However, you could scan them in an email, and that's more than acceptable. I got a question about how much experience do you need? The answer is none. Every sport has some relative skill level to it, but depending on what you're pertaining to, I'm assuming everybody can run. Cross country is a good option for you. More than half of our kids have never fenced before. They come here and learn how to fence. So freshman year is a great time to reinvent yourself. So I would definitely push you to make that. I got a question, how long are basketball practice? So on average, practices run anywhere from 90 to I'd say 120, 150 minutes based on the sport. Okay. Will athletes be required to wear masks? That's actually a very good question. The answer is, for summer session workouts, they will be required to report to campus with masks. when they're actually conditioning and in their pods, they do not have to wear a mask. However, if they do go to a communal area like the watering and cooling station, they will be required to put on the mask when not drinking and then return from there. Will this PowerPoint be mailed out? Yes, I will make it available via the website. So if you got a quick link, anything, you can get to it and scroll through it as best you can. When is the paperwork due for incoming freshmen? That answer is as soon as you can get it to us. The official start date we're receiving stuff is the 20th, but if you got it ready to rock for tomorrow and or Friday, we'd accept it too. You can email it to Miss Felicia Robinson, or you can drop it off here at the Guardhouse or the Athletic Center. So, hopefully physicals are either have been completed and you can access them via your pediatrician, or you can schedule that visit sometime in the near future. All right, soccer tryouts. Again, any questions in regards to specific sports, please click on those tabs and they'll tell you exactly where to go and when to be there. Tryouts for soccer will not start until the official fall start date, which is September the 14th. But you want to be part of those summer sessions if possible. All right, when's the physical paperwork due for winter sports? Usually about 60 days before the start of the winter season, we look to start compiling those things. No sooner than that. So usually end of September, beginning of October is a good time for physicals for winter sports. I see a question about credits. Credits are in regards to your eligibility. So every course you take has assigned credits to it. So for instance, your math class is a 5-credit course for the year. So at the halfway part, you get 2.5 credits if you're passing your math class. In order to get the full 5 credits, you need to pass it for the year. All right. And that's where that 30 credit load comes from. You should have 30 credits by the end of your freshman year. You should have 60 credits by the end of your sophomore year, 90 by the end of your junior year, 120 for graduation. That's the state minimum requirement. So NJSIA is just making sure that you are on track to graduate. Here at PCTVS, you might have 42 credits at the end of your freshman year because of the credits that are available through your shop classes. All right. Does PCTVS conduct annual baseline testing? I love it. We do. We're an impact school, so our athletic trainers do work the impact program. For those of you that don't know, impact is a baseline neurological test. For us, it's a tool in the toolbox to assess your son or daughter after a concussion, all right, after a traumatic brain injury that can occur. So we do utilize baseline neurological tests. It's going to be a little different rolling it out this fall. There's no doubt about it. We might use that virtual period, if you will, to get that done between September 1st and September the 14th. That is yet to be discussed, but we got to be ready to rock and roll when September 14th rolls around, assuming that the state will allow us to move forward. Again, another question about soccer tryouts. I would say visit the website, Fall Sports, click on soccer, look at the dates, be there for those conditioning days, and then tryouts will start as we enter into the physical season, which will be September 14th. Summer conditionings for fall sports only. All right, that's another answer by Pat. Volleyball tryouts, same situation. We're not cutting anybody until September, the week of September 14th. That's when physical tryouts will happen. However, that doesn't mean coaches won't be exposed to students before that through summer conditioning, workout, and everything. All right, cheer tryouts. Cheer tryouts, I'd ask that you contact Coach Dowling, as responded here by Mr. Triano, our athletic trainer. There is a cheer routine that's located up there for you guys to learn. You do have to submit a video request from that, but take a peek at the cheer website if you have questions in regards to cheer tryouts. Tech Life. All right. All right, so I did get a pretty good question here from Mr. Ponce. It was in regards to the schedule for school. A letter is going out to parents. I believe the answer was at some time either on Thursday or Friday, which will indicate what the school year will look like. In all probability, it will be a hybrid schedule, which presents A and B day at 50% attendance for the building based on your CTE. So that's your shop classes. I believe Monday will be a virtual day for everyone. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday will be that rotating A-B schedule. So that's coming out there. Please understand that we are one of the largest schools in the state. We have well over 4,000 students. So coming up with a plan that works for a group that big takes a little bit of time. But I know central office and our administration has been working on that tirelessly for the last couple of days. And, again, we're waiting for those guidelines from the state, which we just received recently. All right, so physical paperwork, again, can be dropped off at the Guardhouse or Athletic Center. Guardhouse is easier because you won't have to check in on campus. Because if you come on campus, you have to go through our temperature check procedures. But you can drop it off at the Guardhouse in person, or you can scan and email it to Miss Felicia Robinson, who is the athletic secretary. All right, and I will put all that information is on the PowerPoint, which will be posted on the website for tomorrow. Winter sports, I don't need to see paperwork for winter sports until the second half of October. That's usually a good guideline. And for spring sports, I really don't need to see spring sport paperwork until February. All right, but usually it's a 60-day window before the start of the season. I see there is a recent physical needs to be completed to attend summer recess workouts. The answer for freshmen is yes. You can't attend summer recess workouts without medical clearance paperwork if you're a freshman. So I need to know your medical history, and the best way to do that is a complete PPE packet, so that full packet for freshmen. For upperclassmen and returning student athletes, if they've had a physical on file in 2019, 2020, we're going to give them till August 3rd to hand in their medical clearance paperwork. After the 3rd, they'll no longer be allowed to participate if we don't have a valid physical on file. Hey, got a great question. Can a female play football as well? The answer is 100% yes. Football is a co-ed varsity sport, as is wrestling at PCTI, as is ice hockey at PCTI. So the answer is yes. How do you apply for a specific sport? All you have to do is fill out the cover page. The cover page of that medical physical packet will tell you whether it's the medical physical complete packet or the health history questionnaire update will dictate that is your registration page. Hand in your physicals. If you want to physically hand it in, Guardhouse and or Athletic Center to drop off, or you can email it to Miss Felicia Robinson, the athletic secretary. Schedule for tennis should be up there. Just go to Fall Sports tab, click on tennis. There, tennis is going to start on Monday the 27th. They're going to be at the tennis courts for conditioning. Tennis is one of the few sports that is allowed to have equipment based on the state's recommendation. Ice hockey conditioning. Good news in the ice hockey world. I was informed that starting August 10th, the ice vault will open. I believe that teams are trying to assemble some late summer, early fall teams. So if you want to email Coach Fry and see what the Bulldogs have plans, you're more than willing to do that. Kids need to present some form of ID for summer recess training. The answer is, yeah, you have to submit a full physical. So once you submit your full physical, you'll actually get your student ID number, and that is how we identify students here at PCTVS via their student ID number. Tryouts for volleyball, same situation. visit the website. I believe their summer conditioning, volleyball summer conditioning is set to start Wednesday the 29th. But again, all that information is on the fall sports tab. If you play a spring sport, do you have access to the weight room in the fall and winter? Traditionally, the answer is yes. The weight room is always open. It is seasonal, and anyone can sign up to participate in weight room. Because of the COVID-19 restrictions, we're going to have to limit those. My recommendation is going to be for in-season athletes, but we'll address that as we get guidance from the state about what can and can't happen. Recently, PCTI emailed parents to send students medical records and vaccinations. If that's already on file, then we still need to get the doctors to complete the 2 forms in the big 18-page packet. The answer is yes. If you completed those forms on the New Jersey Department of Education forms, those are those 4 blue pages, you can just copy those and put it in the new packet, but it's got to be on those forms. You don't need a PCTI 1 account to get the physical packet. If you're having an issue, please email me. I'll send you a direct link for it. But if you're trying to access it from your phone, I believe phones are causing issues in getting those web files. So please try to access it via computer. If you can't, let me know. I'll send it to you as an attachment to your email address. Athletes required to wear masks, the answer is yes, unless they're physically conditioning, or if you have a medical conditioning that the suppression of air is bad. So if you're asthmatic, et cetera, you don't have to be wearing a mask. But we want as many students as we can wearing masks to limit exposure and keeping everybody healthy and safe. Yeah, we can accept physicals as soon as you want. If you guys want to have the information and want to drop it off tomorrow and Friday, we can accept it as well. The go date for upperclassmen, I've advised them Monday, September 20th, but we have people here and we'll have nurses getting ready to process that as early as Monday. Got a couple questions about practice length. Practice length on any given sport can be anywhere from 90 to 180 minutes, depending on the opponent, the sport, the time of year. I'm sure baseball players will tell you that their practices are 6 hours. Not necessarily the case, but on a Monday through Friday basis, you're looking at anywhere from 90 to 180 minutes. Question is, can my daughter do summer practice with 2 different sports? The answer is she could. In this current circumstance, we're going to ask her to pick one because we can't have her working with 2 independent pods and we can't have her on 2 limited rosters because every spot needs to be accounted for. We can only have 10 student athletes working with 1 coach. So the number of coaches actually limit the number of openings. So I don't want to overexpose anyone. Are there playoffs for freshman teams? The answer is no. NJSIA sponsors all-state tournaments at the varsity level only. For some respective sports, there are playoff brackets. There are tournament brackets, if you will, that kind of glorify a winner in a group, but there's no organized state playoffs for freshmen. There's going to be a winter athlete summer workout also. The answer is no. Summer workouts are for fall sports only. Training at PCTI will start in the summer on the 27th on campus. Once we submit forms for soccer, does the nurse or coach reach out to us to let us know they're good to go for the summer session? So if you've submitted a packet, physical packet to our nurses, if there's an issue with the packet, you will be contacted by the nurse to let you know exactly what the issue might be. The coach will receive a calculated list that shows who's cleared to participate. So if there's anybody that falls in the cracks, sometimes we do have to follow up, but more often than not, it's just the completion of a form and we're waiting for that form in transition. So the nurses list dictates, which is shared with the coaches, dictates who's cleared to participate. I got a question about a birthday in August and a physical form that she takes in August. Will that suffice? The answer is yes. August physicals don't really work out well in regards to athletics. We usually like to set the table earlier than August if possible. She can wait till August, but that means, you know, she's not going to be able to participate until we have the medical clearance paperwork in. Deadline for summer assignments. I'm not going to know that. You might want to email the supervisors for those respective departments, and they can help you. Can girls join football? Yes, 100%. Football is a co-ed sport, so girls can try out for football. I have a question. If we want to sign up for 2 fall sports like volleyball and cheer, on that form, you would designate volleyball / cheer, and you'd be good to go. That's the only combination of sports, cheer plus another, that you could list, because otherwise it would be contradictory. If you're going to try out for volleyball but then want to move to cross country, once you're medically cleared, you're medically cleared. We could always make the roster swap. Doesn't require additional paper. If your physical is good till the middle of August, you're good to go right away. That means that's a valid physical. If the physical has been done in the previous 365 days, you're good to go. If the physical expires while you're in season but already medically cleared, it doesn't matter. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So if your last physical was in August, you can submit that paperwork as long as you can get in touch with your pediatrician to make sure it's on the updated form, and then resubmit it to us. You're good to go. That's a valid physical if it's within the last year. So that is an option for you. And depending on the doctor's office, they will allow you to update medical clearance paperwork if it's in that year window. Some of them might charge you a fee, but they allow you to do it. Guardhouse is that small building as soon as you enter the campus on Reinhardt. So one of the questions is, where is the Guardhouse? That is immediately on to your right as you enter the campus from Reinhardt Road. Cross-country tryouts are not going to be till the end of August, all right? But coaches are going to be posting workouts. So if you're interested in cross-country, you should definitely pay attention to those workouts. And if you can get together for fun runs off campus, like at Garrett Mountain, you're encouraged to do so. How do you register for multiple sports? Again, multiple sports registration is, you can connotate anything with a /. So if you're trying out for volleyball but then want to try cross-country, volleyball / cross-country, you're good to go. You're going to be placed on the volleyball list first. Tell coach that, you know, volleyball's not for me. I want to go out for cross-country, and we'll move you over on the roster. Again, I had another question from Sal. It says, my child's physical is on August 25th. Can we use last year's? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. As long as that pediatrician is willing to use our forms, which are those 4 New Jersey Department of Education pages. As long as he's ready and willing to put that information on there, you're good to go. And then you won't need another physical until, if she tries out for a winter team, she would need a new physical or a spring team. Are cheer members required to attend every single event for the high school? The answer is no. So depending on the level that you make, that will denote which level you're going to cheer for. If you're a varsity cheer, obviously you're going to varsity football games. If you're a junior varsity cheer, you might be asked to cheer at JV games in addition to sophomore games, if we have them. And then the freshman cheerleaders usually cheer for the freshmen independently. So they kind of, they all work together to make sure we have coverages at all home games, but you're not necessarily required to come to every one of those. And there are some JV cheerleaders that cheer up. So physical, the school needs could be printed. So if you need the physical packet and you can't print it, you stop by the school and visit the health office. Our nurses literally have hundreds of copies that we can give you. So, please, if printing is an issue, just find a way to get to the school and we'll take care of you in that regard. Normally, if we have this meeting in person, I'm able to physically hand you packets if you need it. Unfortunately, it's one of the downsides to virtual. If you can't submit the forms by July 20th, that's not a problem. We're accepting them at any time. Just know that your son or daughter can't participate in a practice until we get those forms. So that includes summer recess workouts. All right, so that's a great question. Doesn't have to be on the 20th. It can be on a subsequent day, but it's going to remove them from participating on the 27th if we don't have it by then. Should we contact winter coaches? If you have an interest in winter sport, you can contact a winter coach at any time. They might not be able to give you any specific directives at this point, especially because there's a lot of question marks about the fall and winter in regards to COVID. But you can touch base with them at any time. Winter tryouts start the Monday before Thanksgiving, just to put things in perspective. So it's 3 days of tryouts before Thanksgiving, and then we're full go. We have 3 days off for the 4 days off for the Thanksgiving holiday, and then we're full go that following Monday. So winter sports, we have time. That's for the majority of winter sports. Swimming and ice hockey and bowling start earlier than that. They're usually November 15th. But basketball, wrestling, and winter track are the Monday before Thanksgiving. Is the asthma action plan in the physical? If you have that, you include it with your physical. There are questions within the packet itself that you could have that. Usually the asthma action plan comes from your medical home. But if you do indicate asthma is there, our nurses will ask for it. If freshmen have little to no knowledge of the sport they want to play, will the coaches teach them, or do they have to do it on their own time? It's kind of a tough question. Obviously, there's a big learning curve in some sports. Some of our ninth grade football players have never been able to play football before, so there's a learning curve. Coaches are looking for skill set and coachability. So the answer to that is, if your son or daughter is willing to commit themselves to the sport, shows an interest and shows skill level, coaches are gonna take a shot on them and develop those skills. That's not to say that somebody that comes in with 8 years experience, playing club and travel softball isn't going to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. That's a very real possibility. So with limited roster sports, putting your best foot forward is important, especially at the beginning. Does summer soccer count as a tryout? The answer is no. So the summer recess conditioning is not mandatory. So we will not be making cuts based solely on that. We will have 3 days when we report in September, on September 14th, to determine final rosters for teams. But the more you're exposed to a sport, the better chances you're developing the skills, the better chances that you're, meeting the coaches, meeting your teammates. It works out in the end. So if you can attend those summer practices, please do. If you cannot, coaches will provide them virtually to you if you request them. All right, student ID is asked on the cheer site. You don't need to know it now. It will be posted on PowerSchool shortly, but just first and last name for ninth graders will suffice at this time. Physicals are good till middle August. It's best to wait to get the new physical. Yeah, if your physical is valid until August, use last year's paperwork, right? That'll get you cleared for the fall, and then we'll address the new physical from there. So if that is the case, you can use last year's paperwork in your physical packet. Most physicians' office will allow you to do that. If you have to resubmit the forms, they just have to be on the Department of Education paperwork, which are those 4 blue pages in the packet. Fencing tryouts. Fencing is a winter sport. You got time for that one? What should I do if my pediatric doctor is closed and I can't get my new physical exam? My response to that would be a telemedicine option If not, Med Express offers a $30 physical. CVS Minute Clinic also offers a low-cost sports physical. If there's a pre-existing medical condition, I can understand why you'd want to wait for your regular physician. But if it's just for a generic sports physical, those are great options. Urgent care, I know, does the same. So it might be an answer for you. If you want to wait for school-issued physicals, we're looking to host those hopefully in August, the first week in August. How old can a doctor's physical be? The answer is within the last 365 days. So this individual says their birthday's in October. Your last year's physical is still good. It's can you get it on the Department of Education paperwork? Maybe it was completed that way based on the town or rec department you came from, and you're ready to go. Might need an updated signature if it's 9 months old though. How can I sign up for summer conditioning? Signing up for summer conditioning for freshmen would be submitting the medical clearance paperwork. Once you've submitted your medical clearance paperwork, you're able to attend those summer conditioning workouts. The earlier you do them, the better the chance that you're on a nurse's list. If you wait to the day of the practice, that can be somewhat cumbersome, especially because our nurses are probably processing somewhere between 500 to 600 physicals getting ready for the fall. So earlier, the better. Dave said you asked a number of questions and they weren't answered. Dave, let me know. Hit me up with another question. I'm scrolling through this list as best I can, trying to find the answers for you to any questions that you might have. Should I email the girls' soccer coach as of now advising my daughter's interest in freshman soccer? Not a bad idea. Correspondence with the coaches is key. They're expecting you to touch base with them. A lot of them have given you a mechanism to contact them, whether it's by the Remind app or Huddle or Google Classroom or Canvas. So every coach uses a different mechanism to kind of communicate with their teams. But as soon as we get your son or daughter into the mix with that, the better. Child's last physical was February. Will that be allowed? Absolutely. February is definitely in the 365-year window. I just need that physical form on the New Jersey Department of Education forms. If it's already there, you might just need an update on a signature and you're good to go. Dave, I'm seeing you ask for help, but I'm not seeing your question. So if you hit me up again, I'll try to get an answer to your question. Dave W. Questions are not being answered. Just Dave, let me know what your questions are. Your student ID number is going to be a new number that's issued to you on Power School. Again, freshmen are not up there as of yet. They will be there in a while. Greg asked the swim coach or the main contact. There are two swim coaches. The boys swim coach is Miss Denise Aronson. The girls swim coach is Miss Jen Wall. If you click on the winter sports tab and click on swimming, you'll get to that. How will practice work on virtual days? There's your question, Dave. Dave W., I'm with you. On virtual days, we still have to address that. We were just advised by the state that virtual days will come into play last Friday. We are going to work as deeply and quickly as we can with our student athletes throughout August to get them up to speed physically. And then, we'll talk about the virtual piece. What will happen on virtual days, I can tell you for most sports, there will be huddle sessions in which coaches can share videotape, footage, offense and defense pieces. So we do a lot of work through video on a program called Huddle. It's what coaches use to scout teams, share film, etc. So there will be a lot of stuff on Huddle. There will also be a ton of stuff on Google Classroom and or Canvas to go over workouts and what's expected with the kids. But Dave, you're definitely right, and I'm glad you pushed hard on that question because the virtual days, which will be August 28th to September 14th, will be unique and something that we've never done before. I got a question from Katie about a medical condition. I can't answer that via WebEx, but if you want to touch base with our nurses, they'll let you know exactly where we stand with that and or our athletic trainers. All right, so that one's for Katie regarding a medical condition. Physicals taking place for freshmen at school. Again, we're looking to set them up the first full week in August. So hopefully I'll be able to, I'll let you know exactly those dates as soon as our school physician has committed to them. That's what we're waiting for right now. How will practice work when a student is away? So obviously with all incoming freshmen, we know vacations are planned, you're visiting family. There's no way we could have anticipated this group of circumstance. So freshmen will never be penalized for not being able to attend, obviously, a summer workout session, but even in regards to a tryout session. So if a freshman comes to me and say, this was planned and therefore I cannot be in attendance, we're going to give them a window to try out. Now, this year, that tryout is September 14th. So I expect everyone's going to be in school in regards to September 14th when tryouts will officially begin. But as far as the summer recess workouts are, they are not mandatory. And if you have something committed to your family, as a ninth grader, you're expected to attend that. As a 10th grader, different story, because coaches have contact with them usually during the course of the school year and definitely within June. But even now that is unique because we are in uncharted territories. All right, what will student athletes need to wear to tryouts? Obviously, they're going to have to wear comfortable clothing. It's going to be warm. They're going to be in the early evening of July and August, so we can expect pop-up thunderstorms and some overbearing temperatures. So they will need to be as comfortable as possible. If their sport requires cleats or footwear, they're expected to have it, but it is no way mandatory. Most of our student athletes can suffice just fine with sneakers at this juncture, especially in regards to conditioning. So we don't have to run out and buy cleats. When they make the team, that might be something else that you want to explore, but by no means is that mandatory. Can I fill out the forms for fall, winter, and spring right now? Unfortunately, filling out the fall is really the only thing that we should be doing at this point, because the fall is what's on deck. If you fill out the winter paperwork too early, you're going to be required to do what's called a 90-day update. So we want to avoid doing that. That's the health history questionnaire. You might be creating double work. So signups right now should be specifically focused on our fall season. How would practice work on days when students are away from campus virtually? That's Dave W. again. Dave, I got you. It's going to be unique, and we're going to have to communicate that to you guys. It's definitely going to be a learning curve for coaches. It's definitely going to be a learning curve for student athletes. My biggest concern is I hope we're still looking at a fall season. I don't want anything to happen with numbers throughout the state or any cause for concern in a rise of infections that would jeopardize our ability to return to sport or our ability to return to school. So, yeah, that is a great question. How old can a physical be for it to be acceptable? Ninth graders need new physicals, but if you've had a physical done in the last 365 days, you could have your pediatrician update the form. Sometimes that comes at a fee from their office processing, and you could submit that. So ninth graders are advised to have new physicals, but if you've had one recently and your physician's office is willing to update him on the new forms, again, sometimes at a fee, those are acceptable as well. Orientation dates will be announced for incoming freshmen. That's going to be the tail end of August. One of the major pieces that are tied to orientation is the issuing of your new laptops. So we need those to arrive on campus before we start bringing kids in for orientation. If the class schedule is going to be a hybrid, do the athletes have to go to campus on their virtual days? The answer, Angel, is yes. We will have to find a way to get our student athletes on campus in any given day. On a virtual day, on a A day for B students, on a B day for A students. So it will require courtesy busing from the district. So hopefully that helps most families. It's not going to be an answer for all families. So that's where it's going to become difficult. Yeah, so that's a great point by Grace. The 29th for volleyball, July 29th for volleyball, is returning student athletes only. And the reason that we had to do that is the number of freshmen that we generally get for girls volleyball. It would not be surprising to find that we have 60, 70, last year, 85 freshman girls volleyball players trying out for the sport. So we needed to separate those days in which we can get multiple sessions spread out over. I only have 4 volleyball coaches, so the most I could have is 40 at a given session. So Coach Rosa and his staff have tried to get creative with that. But yes, July 29th is the start for returning volleyball players, which would not include any freshmen. And then the freshmen get in the mix, I believe, the following week. I believe it's the following Monday, although I'm working purely from memory. So what do you need to submit for football tryouts is a question. Updated or complete medical physical packet indicating football as a sport of choice. And then if you're coming for summer workouts, athletic gear, light shirt, light shorts. If you got cleats, those are great, and a water bottle would be all you need to bring on days in which you're doing a summer recess workout. All right. Wrestling tryouts. Wrestling is a winter sport. Those tryouts begin the Monday before Thanksgiving. You need to buy gear for fencing. The answer is no. We provide gear here. However, it is intimate, and you know, if fencing is a sport for you and you've done it in the past, sometimes it behooves you to have your own equipment. But if you do need equipment, the school does issue standard fencing gear. To communicate with the cross-country coach, you can email Louis Colon. He's our head boys cross-country coach. He's also our head wrestling coach. Or you can email Jen Wall. She is our head girls cross-country coach, and she is also our head swimming coach. So both of them are multi-sport coaches. You can email them and go from there. Okay. If the school nurse confirmed that physical exams are good, do we need to fill out the forms anyway? Yes, you have to fill out the athletic forms. They're different from what you submitted to the school in regards to vaccinations and medical history. So you have to complete the athletic packet in order to participate in athletics. Will there be sports on days where kids are virtual? Yes, there will be. Parents would either need to get them to campus or courtesy busing would kick in which we'd have a run that brings them here, assuming that they can get to Passaic City Hall, Patterson City Hall, Clifton, I think Piaget is where we pick them, et cetera, and then some off-county runs. But otherwise, yeah, we would need our parents to find a way to get them to practices on virtual days. That's not to say that every program at every level will be practicing every virtual day. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. How many students are accepted in girls soccer? Girls soccer is one of those sports we very rarely have to have deep cuts. You know, for a freshman girls soccer team, 20, 22 is probably an ideal number. But, you know, we've had also years in which we get very highly qualified ninth graders that can move up to JV and or varsity, and that creates more roster spots. So, I mean, soccer is fairly competitive, especially on the boys' side, but the girls have been pretty good with, you know, without having to make ridiculous cuts in the past. Will field hockey be a spring sport? That's from Sasha. Sasha, Field hockey might be PCTI's next sport. Unfortunately, it's not one that we're offering in 2020, 2021. But hopefully soon we'll have discussions about field hockey. I know my athletic trainers just laughed when they heard that, but I would like to see field hockey as one of our sport offerings. Unfortunately, we do not have it for this year. Elba, I hope you get in contact with the cross-country coach. I'm going to shoot me an email, and I'll make sure he gets your email. I don't know why he hasn't responded to you, but I see that's the third time you've requested communication with him or her, so I'll get him. Do you have to sign a permission slip every time there's an away game? The answer is no. We provide transportation for your son or daughter to away contests. We do, however, expect them to return with us. So if you are picking them up from an away contest, you do have to give advance notice to the athletic department and to the coach. We do that so we make sure we're supervising all of our student athletes and we're not losing anybody on the bus ride home. So there's a little bit of extra work if you're picking your athlete up from an away game and they're not returning on the team bus. Type of footwear that's allowed on the turf, no metal cleats. In no way, shape, or form. Baseball field, softball field, upper field, football field, no metal turf cleats are allowed on our fields. They do damage to the carpet, which can be a problem for us. Also, no chewing of seeds or gum of any kind. Do soccer athletes need special cleats? There are soccer cleats. Most of our kids do wear them. The surface is slick. I do not think regular sneakers will be permissible during the course of a soccer contest. Some of our athletes might choose to use them in practice, but not necessarily during a contest. Most of them do have a molded cleat in some way, shape, or form. The first day of school is September the 2nd. I saw that was on there. Question is, once we've dropped off the physical, how do we know we can participate on the 27th? If you've dropped off the physical early enough in the week of the 20th, you're going to be good to go unless you get a phone call from the school nurse office requesting additional paperwork. You could also call the athletic department to verify that you're on the nurse's list. I would say probably by Wednesday of next week, so around the 23rd, if you need to confirm. But usually if the packet is dropped off in its entirety and there's no issues, you're good to go. Scott Ponce, you're making me laugh with the homecoming question. Yeah, homecoming is going to be a little different this year. Hopefully it'll still be as festive, but yeah, homecoming might be a little different. We'll see. Hopefully things go well will continue to go well for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And, we might be leading the charge and returning to normalcy. So from your lips to God's ears. From your chat tweet to God's ears. How many boys freshmen tried out for soccer last year? Soccer's fairly competitive. I believe last year we had about 40, I want to say 45. We kept the roster pretty healthy. Again, there are a number of ninth graders that come in with a skill set that they can move up to either the junior varsity or varsity level. So, I would say boys soccer is competitive. If you're well versed in the sport, you should be able to make the team. But every year, I'm pleasantly surprised at the caliber of athlete that comes in, hence raising the bar and, making us better all the way around. Does Cheer have summer conditioning? They do have virtual workouts that are located. So just check out that website. And then if you have any questions about Cheer, email Coach Dowling. She's amazing in regards to correspondence. So I'm sure you'll hear from her quickly. Okay, this year I have summer conditioning virtually. Can we fill out athletic forms online? So we do not have an online portal for athletic forms. Part of it is because I enjoy having hard copy signatures on file for records that we need to maintain for a minimum of 7 years. I'm a little uncomfortable with e-signatures and how those things transpond and then, are managed to be lost. So we do maintain robust files. We have 6 nurses on campus, all of which who do an amazing job to assist athletics. So we stick to the hard copies, but we will accept your electronic scanned or emailed copy, and we'll wind up printing it out here on our end to put it in the file as hard copy. How do you get the athletic packet? Athletic packet, ELBA. You can go to the athletics homepage. On the left-hand side, there's an area for health forms. You click that, and you can print the packet. How many freshmen are accepted onto the football team? Football is one of those ones that we really don't have cuts. I've seen freshman roster as high as 65. So, if we've got helmets and shoulder pads and we've got jerseys, we want them to be active part of our teams. So I would say football is one of those flexible rosters. Same thing can be said about track. I got a question about the girls' track uniform. The uniform is a standard uniform for cross country. It's also used in winter track and spring track. It is shorts and a tank. We do have some variables on the uniform in regard to speed suits, compression shorts. Usually it's what the kids are comfortable with. So if a cross country student athlete doesn't like the cross country shorts, they by all means can wear a matching compression short underneath. But there are some regulations from the state on coloring, so they can't be contrary coloring. So if the uniform is black, the compression shorts have to be black. Got a question here about can't getting the freshman football coach's email. That's Coach William Hallback. If you click on the football page, his name should be highlighted in blue, and it'll take you right there. All right, or the head coach is Matt Demrest, same situation. I thank Mr. Triano and our trainers for answering a lot of these questions. That's great. What types of cleats can be used in boys soccer? Any standard boys soccer molded cleat. I stay away from the screw-ins. They're a little more expensive and probably unnecessary. With that athletic form, can we still play on the 27th? The answer for Mr. Guler is no. You need a valid medical physical on file to participate on the 27th. Swimming is a winter sport. They start early. I believe November 15th is the start for swimming as a winter sport. All right, believe it or not, I think I'm at the end. All right, so hopefully that information was informative. Like I said, if anybody missed the information as was presented, we will have a videotape copy of this that will be placed on the athletic website so you can review. Unfortunately, sitting through the presentation for an hour and 40 minutes might not be something you want to redo. So just pick up the phone, give us a call. 973-389-4106 is our office line. And, from there, we could answer any questions that you might have. You could also call my secretary. Our extension is 4141. And, we will do our best to answer your question as quickly as we can and get resolutions to any of your concerns. But we're looking to go into phase 1. We're excited to have the students back on campus starting July the 27th for select sports. And, it's going to be a lot more work. It's going to be very different for all involved. But, I know we're Bulldog strong. The definition of being a Bulldog is set in your ways and making things happen. And that's exactly what we're ready to do. So I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Again, any questions, email me at any time or call the athletic office, and we'll get resolution to your concerns. All right. Super excited to get things going again. Very excited with the possibility of meeting our incoming freshmen and seeing what the future looks like, and you know, adding to that tradition of excellence, which you know, which to me is the fruit of the labors from this office, from the athletic training office, and from the coaches, and all those pieces meshing together and doing great things. All right, so I thank all of you. I wish you the best, and if you got any questions, touch base, and we'll see you soon. All right, go Bulldogs.